Welcome back to Fun Rich Mom. I'm Mitch Blackford, and I am so glad that you are here today. With me, I have Arin Kaur. She is a mindfulness coach that went from being a stressed out teacher and mom to finding a way to release all of that anxiety, all of that pressure, everything that we just feel building up around us every day. And she needed a different way. So she found meditation, yoga, and it became a passion for her. And now she's with us today and she's going to share some really simple, quick, I love quick and simple techniques that you could really do even while you're watching this show or listening to this show and implement into your days to just bring some calm, release that anxiety, bring you into the now instead of worrying about what happened yesterday or what we've got to do tomorrow. And then we're also going to share some fun stories. And there's a word that I learned about today. You might learn about it too. Really fun. So with that, let's get started. Welcome, Arin. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and join me for our Fun Rich Moms here. I'm excited to get to know a little bit more about you.
I am excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. Hey, you know what? Actually, I just thought of this. You are in Canada, right?
I am, yes.
You're actually my second Canadian guest. So we got a following in Canada. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
So thank you, Canada. Well, with that being said, I know that moms, man, we have so much going on. And sometimes the idea of being mindful or taking time to meditate just seems so far out there because it's like, I got laundry to do. I got stuff to do. And you are a mom, you have a daughter, but would you kind of give a little breakdown so that everyone can understand, okay, what was going on in your life when you found meditation and how did you figure it out and become to the point where now you're coaching it?
Okay, so I've been an elementary teacher by profession, and so my life before my kids was as everybody else's is, like that rush out the door in the morning with your breakfast on the go, and we're just like rushing in, like trying to beat the minute to reach work on time. Stressful days, come back, watch TV, still be stressed out, try to catch up on work, and then, go to bed. Like, so mindfulness or like any kind of mental health well-being routine I did not have. um Honestly, a personal disclosure, I used to think before I got into all of this that mind like meditation is woo woo. Like,
Oh, yes.
for the longest time in my life I had that misconception. Oh, meditation, so I should probably stay away from it and like think what not. So that's the mindset I kind of grew up with. And till I had my daughter, that which was about 7 years ago now. I wanted to shed those postpartum weight and extra pounds. So I was like, okay, I'm going to join yoga and, get into power yoga and, lose weight and whatnot. So I went to a yoga class, my first ever yoga class, and I did it. And they started with just peaceful breathing for 3 minutes. And that was absolutely new for me. I was like, whoa, what are you talking about here? What are we doing here?
What, just breathing can do something for me?
Yeah,
What?
that was like a shocker for me. And every day, like initially, I just went for my workouts every single day, but slowly and slowly, uh, with the workouts, they started doing meditation at the end of the session, breathwork before we get into the session, and it was an instant connect for me. It's like, like, where have you been all my life? Like, what world is this where like I'm just sitting still and I feel so calm? Like, it's like it just comes together. It's like, huh, okay. This was not a part of my world. Is this actually a world? Like, what is this? Like, it was just mind boggling for me because that was just a new world, like something I've never experienced for like 30 years of my life. And
Wow.
all of a sudden, because for me, for those 30 years, the ideal life is what? you have to be stressed. Like, I mean, is there any life without stress? You're always going to be stressed, and then you're going to make things work, and then you probably have a stressful week, enjoy on the weekend, and and the cycle goes on, or just look forward to the future, vacation you're planning. So that's the lifestyle I had been. But here I am, all of a sudden, calm, like just calm. And that's like, there's
Mm.
just that stillness. And I tell this to my clients so many times, no matter what you read, no matter how much I tell you the benefits of meditation or breathing, till you actually experience it, you don't know. Like, because that magical moment of stillness when you first experience it is a game changer. So that's
Yeah.
what got me hooked onto meditation and breath work. I did my yoga teacher training right after that. Then this was all in India. So when I came here to Canada, I did my Kundalini yoga teacher training as well. So I got more into meditation and chants and connecting inside of me more than relying outside for seeking peace and bliss. And so just going inwards was like a new world for me. And it was after I had my son about 3 years ago when I actually felt that I'm ready to share this with the world. And that's when I launched my own coaching business.
Very nice. So you mentioned that you were doing yoga and then you did Kundalini yoga. So what is the difference between those two methodologies?
Pulls apart. It's pulls apart. So when we talk about normal hatha yoga, there's more emphasis on how we flow, or the vinyasa flows. Okay, get into downward dog position, then we're going to flow into cobra, or we'll do sun salutations. But when we talk about Kundalini yoga is including your breathing in your movements. So it's very different. You don't have those traditional down dog and cobra positions, but what you will have is that, okay, you're sitting and you're just like, you have your hands on your shoulders and you're going to kind of just twist from left to right. Seems very simple, ineffective. What is this going to do for me? But try doing this with your breathing. So you're inhaling left, exhaling right, and you're doing it for at least 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
That's where it gets challenging. Like, even the simplest of things will become challenging because A, you're going to be focusing on your breathing. B, you're going to push yourself. Your arms get tired. Your body
That's
gets
the first
tired.
thing I thought of. I'm like, it seems simple, but if I'm doing this for 3 minutes, my arms are going to slowly and you
Exactly.
have to, and the
Yeah,
posture is so
posture
important,
is,
right?
yeah, exactly. So, what this does is, because you are obviously focused, inhale left, exhale right, inhale left, exhale right, your mind's not wandering. You
Mm.
you can't get lost in your to-do list. So
What's
this
your to-do list? What's your to-do list? I don't know
the
that word.
sorry, to-do list.
Oh, your to-do list? Okay. Well, now I know. I
Yeah.
know that one really well. Okay,
Yeah,
just
we
checking.
all do. The one which is overflowing always and spilling on to the next day. That one.
I was thinking this was a Kundalini term, and I'm like, okay,
No,
wait
no,
a
no.
second.
No. The one which
Sorry.
we all have, no matter where we are. So
Okay, okay.
generally, when we're into flows, we're listening to the instructor, but what in our heads, actually, we're just planning. As soon as this gets over, I have to pick up my kids from school, and then I have to, like, so our mind is constantly still working, right? We're
Mm.
physically in that yoga class, but mentally, we're 99% of the times not. But when Kundalini yoga comes into place, and when you're forced to, now you have to match your breath with every movement. Now your brain has to focus. It doesn't have a choice because, hey, inhale left, exhale right, not inhale right, exhale left.
Oh,
So now you're,
and it makes a big difference if you're doing one versus the other. Have you tried doing it the opposite way to see if there's a different effect?
it is different. And
Mm.
also, so now we're deviating, but Kundalini yoga is very prescriptive in nature.
Mm.
So, as a yoga teacher for Hatha Yoga, I have the freedom to design my class how I like it. Play with the flows, okay, and decide what comes after what. But with Kundalini Yoga, it's set. I don't
Mm.
have any freedom. The person who designed Kundalini Yoga and the sets of Kundalini Yoga had a very scientific reason for designing them in such a way because, like I said, it's prescriptive. So there's a yoga set to release your anger. So to get that benefit of releasing an anger, I have to follow that exact sequence of yoga poses, of that breath work, of that meditation in order to achieve that result.
I just heard a collective scream of moms listening to this going, I need that one. I need that one.
We all do. That's why I
Yeah.
like that. And there are so many different breath works and meditations, which are again prescriptive. Like in Kundalini Yoga, you've got something to energize yourself in the morning, like a 3 minute breath
Mm-hmm.
work to energize yourself. Then if you feel difficult, like we all do, hitting the bed, right? Our brain
Mm-hmm.
doesn't turn off. You've got something there. So it's like throughout your day, for anything you experience, Kundalini Yoga has a breath work or a meditation for it. And
So what would if someone was coming to you, I guess what is the biggest problem that most people coming to you say that they have? And then is it a different tactic for each person, or is it a whole set that you have to complete this whole set every day? How does that work?
it's definitely a different thing for every person because I say this a lot that wellness is never a one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
Your routine's different, your schedules are different, your needs are different, and the outcomes you desire are different. Even though we both might have the same problem, like anxiety, which we want to work
Mm-hmm.
towards, like an anxious-free day. But whatever you do in your day looks very different from what I do in my day.
Right.
So how you implement breathing or meditation in your day has to look different than what I do in my day. Otherwise, it's not going to bring you those results.
Got
That's
it.
that's one mistake when we all do, and I've done that too. That we follow all these amazing influencers, we follow all these amazing people who have those ideal 1 hour morning routine and a 1 hour evening routine, and we see that they're so calm, they're so composed, and they're like truly living in the moment. But when we try to implement those exact 10 steps into our lives, excuse me, no results.
Mm,
Because that's suited to their lifestyle, that's suited to their needs, that's suited to their body, not to yours.
I see.
So
And then what, speaking of like the 1 hour in the morning and the 1 hour in the evening, I hear that and I'm like, there's no way I can fit that
it,
in. I've got stuff to do.
yeah.
I got kids I need to feed. So what would you say is something that if someone was coming to you and I'm stressed, I have anxiety, I have anger issues, whatever it is, and I want to get through it and I don't have a lot of time. What sort of time commitment do you feel is that you could safely say, well, this is what you're going to need to give it each day? And obviously there's going to be a set length of time, that course of time that it's going to take for you to fill the results. But like what sort of time commitment per day could someone realistically think that they need to have to put this practice in effect for them?
For a complete beginner, I would
Mm-hmm.
say give me 3 minutes in the morning, give me 3 minutes in the evening, and throughout the day, let's look at where a minute or two you can squeeze in.
Really, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we want to start with. That's very realistic. That's something when I hear, I know that I can do.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the first step is having something which doesn't freak you out, right? Like,
Yes.
10, like even 5 minutes I know are difficult. As a mom of two, like definitely, I know it's difficult. So let's start with three. 3 minutes
I
are
like that.
doable. And mm, so mindfulness, we all see only as breathwork or meditation. But it's not only that. It's so many other various tasks which you can do in your everyday routine to just help your brain focus where it is. So, like brushing your teeth, I brush my teeth with my right hand every day. And if I'm brushing my teeth with my right hand, it's such an autopilot task to do that my brain is free to roam. Again, on my to-do list, or the doctor appointment I need to schedule it, or the library books I have to return, So I'm kind of brushing and seeing which tasks I can tackle today. But let's change that. Let's use the left hand to brush. Let's trick your brain now. So yeah, now it's challenging. Now it's
Yes.
challenging. So now you have to focus on the act of actual brushing. When you're actually focusing on that act of brushing, your brain, even though how much you want it to plan about the other things, now it has to focus on the task of brushing. Why do we want it to focus in that task of brushing? Because honestly, time is an illusion, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the past is not there. Future is not there. This moment is here. And that's what our brain does not want to accept. It'll go everywhere except this moment. So slowly and slowly with these tiny tasks, we need to start training our brain to be in the present moment. Because if we look at anxiety, something like anxiety, why do we have anxiety? We have anxiety because our brain kind of recreates situations which are actually not there. It'll create an imaginary situation sometime in the future. Okay, what if this happens? I'm preparing myself for the worst in every situation. But that situation is not here. That's why we are getting anxiety. If we slowly and slowly train our brain to be present in the now, where we can feel that it's safe, that it's not dangerous, that there's no potential threat to us, that anxiety and that stress level comes down. And that's what we're aiming for. But we can't achieve it like instantly. We started with small, doable tasks, doable tweaks to our everyday routines, like brushing our teeth.
I like that. I like also how you said that the brain doesn't want to accept where you are right now. It's so true. Literally, like if most of your thoughts, I always call it the ticker tape, is always going on, and it's talking about other people, it's talking about ourselves, but it's never really recognizing what is happening in this moment. In this moment, I'm safe. In
Yeah,
this moment, nothing is happening to me. Oh, if in this moment, if I actually looked around, it's very peaceful, or maybe something is happening. It's not as big as our brain tends to make it. I really like
absolutely.
that your brain
Absolutely.
doesn't accept. I might steal that line from you.
Sure. Go ahead.
And just the idea of a simple tweak of changing from right to left, like literally I'm like, my left doesn't I feel like I'm a Flintstone trying to brush my teeth for the first time.
Yeah, yeah. So
But it's
I
true.
really
Yeah,
want
you have to
on that
focus.
challenge. Yeah.
I love that. And thanks for giving that simple, actionable step that literally I'm curious to see if you're listening. Drop a comment. Let me know if you try it.
Yeah.
Because I know everyone's like, I'm going to brush my, and it's true. It just gives you something to focus on.
Yeah.
So, wow. Now, I was going through some of your Instagram reels and you have all of these great reels with these tips. So, I highly recommend that you guys check out her Instagram page. And there was one that I stuck to. I was like, "Oh, yep, I know that feeling." Where you were getting ready with your daughter in the morning and she spilled a glass of milk.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about that story and the differences of you before meditation and mindfulness versus after?
Yeah. So it was a normal morning. We getting late for work, and being a teacher, I have to be before the students. Like I have to reach before the students. So I'm in a rush. She's in a rush, and like they're kids. Mistakes happen. She spills milk, and my heart is filled with, oh my God, I need to clean that up. I'm going to be late. Like that frustration, that helplessness, and anger. I got
Mm-hmm.
angry as well. But then I just looked at her for 1 second and I just saw that she was scared, like because she realized she made a mistake. In those, in that tiny pause of 30 seconds, it helped me realize like my response is going to change the way her day is going to go.
Oh, yes.
So if I take out all my frustration on her right now, which we tend to do so many times unconsciously, not with an intention of ruining her day, but we do it which is not like in our control, she's going to have a bad day for the whole time at school, and she's not going to enjoy anything. She's going to be stuck at home with these emotions, with her brain. It's going to be stuck at home. But I just told her, you know what? It's okay. Let's just quickly clean it up, and it's fine. It's okay. Like, that's all I said. It's okay. Let's just clean it up. And there was this huge relief on her face. She didn't even have to say anything, but that huge relief said it all, that she's like, okay, it's okay. It's okay. And that's what she went to school with, a calm mind. A lot of times, as adults, because we don't know how to regulate our emotions, we don't know how to regulate our responses in everyday life, we are passing on that unregulation or unregulated emotional mindset to our kids as well.
Mm-hmm.
But as parents, when we take those 30 seconds out and we calm down ourselves and react in a very peaceful way, she understood. She knows she made a mistake, like 100%. I don't even have to say that she doesn't know. She knows she made a mistake. But how we can handle it calmly and not ruin each other's day is like, it's a life skill, I think, which needs to be taught at an early age. And I try to do that so many times with my daughter, and it's a challenge. A lot of times, even I don't remember. Being a mindfulness coach doesn't mean, like, this is something I get a lot, that, oh, you must be calm all the time. Like, you're a mindfulness. No, I have all these range of emotions. As humans, we're all supposed to have those range of emotions. But yes, thankfully, I learned how to navigate them and sail through them rather than getting sucked into them. Like, that's the only difference I have from you or for someone else. That's all. And that's like a life skill I'm learning right now at this age, and which I hope my kids learn from an early age so their lives are much smoother.
I understand. And I related so much to that because, so I homeschool my girls. And sometimes there are moments when you're homeschooling where you're just like, or just parenthood in general, right?
Yeah.
There's always these moments where you're just like, I'm about to lose it. And this was just maybe last week or something. And one of my daughters, she was just not having it. She was just one of those things where she's kind of throwing a fit, and I'm about to throw a fit because I'm just over it. We're taking so long to do this lesson that could have been done like that. And I realized in that moment, I'm like, okay, who's 5 here? Because I'm about to act like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Absolutely.
not getting my way, and because she's not fitting in my time frame. And so if I lose myself in this moment and I start screaming, oh no, we need to do this. You're not doing this right. It's not going to get us anywhere. All it's going to do is shut her down some more. It's going to frustrate me more. And we're going to just lose that moment. And I'm also not showing her that I'm actually an adult in adult body. I'm showing her that I'm a 5-year-old in an adult body. And so when I tell her, relax, calm down, she's going to be like, why? You don't. Obviously, adults don't. And that's going to be the model that she has.
Exactly.
So I was really proud of myself because in that moment, I just took a breath and I sat back and I was like, how old am I?
Like,
Let's try
such a
to
good
act
reflection.
that age.
Such a good
Yes,
reflection. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, those tiny moments where you just step back and look at the whole picture, instantaneously your mindset does change. It does.
it does. It does.
But what you need to remember is to take that pause.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the tricky part is, just remembering to take that pause.
Yeah, definitely. So, how long would you say it took you to really feel like, obviously, you mentioned my days are not always peaceful and I'm not constantly mindful because, you have this condition called human. So you can't get over that one. There's no cure for it.
Yeah.
And we also can learn and we can get to a point where it becomes easier or more of an automatic reaction for us to take those moments and be mindful. But what would you say if you looking back on where you were stressed out and you just got started, about how long was your journey to you really felt like, okay, I'm getting the hang of this, where the stress and the anxiety aren't my first reaction, or they might be there and I can still pause. Not every single time, but maybe like 80% of the time, which is life-changing.
Yeah. Um, Honestly, I can't pinpoint to a timeline, but if I like one thing where I really saw a difference in my own personalities was so when I had my daughter, again, I was not into anything yoga, meditation, breath work. So the nights up I had with my daughter when she was young, and the nights up I had with my son when he was young, that kind of showed me a lot of difference. So, of course, like every exhausted, tired mom, with my daughter, I used to feel, oh my God, are you up again? Please go back to sleep. I really need those 2 hours of sleep. And no mom is ever wrong for feeling that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're exhausted and it's okay to want your child to go back to sleep. But for that mindful shift that happened for me was like, and this wasn't conscious. It was just like unconsciously this reaction came like whenever he was up, I was like, wow, okay, so now I can play with him a little more. Oh my God, look at those eyes. Like I don't know, I just started taking him in more
Mm,
whenever I was up. It just did not seem like a burden getting up.
that is powerful.
Yeah.
That
So
is
that was one
powerful.
major shift which I saw. Like and my daughter was she was bottle fed too. So she was a mix of breast and bottle fed.
Mm-hmm.
But my son was completely on breast, like he was feeding from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he with those breastfed babies, like they latch to you, like they're with you all the time. And I was expecting my frustration levels to go up, but here I am in a totally different world of awe. Like that's all I have. Just like I would be, and that is the time when I actually started working on my business as well. So I was just like in another whole dimension. Like if he fell asleep like at 10 at night, and rather than going to sleep, I would sit down and like just do a quick breath work and then journal out some ideas which I had. Like I was not in any rush to catch that sleep. I was like absolutely peaceful wherever I was.
That's
So
beautiful. That is so cool. And what would you say, again, you may not even recognize it now because it's becoming an unconscious habit for you to
yeah.
be in this mindfulness and the presence of the moment. But would you say you have a go-to for when you find yourself kind of the anxiety or the stress is creeping in? Do you have one method that's like, okay, this one I can rely on every time? Although you do use other techniques, but this is your go-to. Do you have one of those?
Yeah. So like again, since we keep coming back to anxiety, um, if you're driving, a lot of times it is that when you're driving, you get anxiety, right? Uh, we don't realize the moment when our anxiety starts to pile up, our body language, our muscles, they tend to tighten, right? So if you're driving and you're getting anxious, your hands on the steering wheel are going to get tighter. Your shoulders are probably going to, come up to your ears. Like there's this tightness which starts happening in your body. My first reaction always is that I consciously release.
Mm.
Like just I relax my hands, I relax my shoulders, I consciously like, unclench my jaw. Like I just relax my body, and that instantly takes down my anxiety. So that's one thing which I really love to do is whenever I notice anything tightening up my body, rather than attacking that thing first, I just tell my body to let go.
So simple and so effective.
Yeah.
I completely get that. Yes,
Yes.
I like that. So well, obviously I mentioned that she's on Instagram, and this was a funny little story that we were talking about before we started recording, but I just was telling Arin, I said I was going through your Instagram and she does all of these reels and tons of tips and resources like this, but her voice, as I'm sure you're hearing right now, it's just so soothing and so calm. And I told her, you're such the perfect personality to be this mindful meditation coach. Because if you came to my Instagram and I was doing meditation, you'd come in and I'd be like, okay, so step one, this is what we're doing. And you'd be like, ah. Too much, too much. Versus hers, you're just like, there's this instant sense of calmness when you're listening to your voice. It's just beautiful. So tell our audience where can they find you?
I hang out on Instagram a lot. Like that's my go-to social media, and I have my website where you can see different ways in which you can work with me. Apart from that, I am hosting an in-between routine masterclass on May 21st. So this is something which I love to propagate. Instead of just focusing on your morning and evening routines, be present and make tiny shifts in your in between routines, like the routines throughout your day. And that's what I'm going to teach. How to do that is what I'm going to teach you in my masterclass.
Oh, very cool. It's kind of like water flowing through all of the cracks of the rocks. It still fits in there, and you didn't have to add another rock.
Exactly. Well said. Yeah. Perfectly put.
I like that. Okay, cool. And then we'll make sure to add all of those links in the show notes. So check out the show notes so that you can get all of that information. And you said that was on May 21st. Is that
May
right?
21st. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, Arin, I have so enjoyed this time with you. Literally, just the breath, just the relaxing my body. I'm like, okay, that's so simple and something I can do. And then tomorrow I'm going to have to try, or I guess later tonight, because there's still daytime, brushing my teeth with my left hand. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to challenge my husband to do it too. We'll see.
Let me know. Like, I would love to know what you and your husband felt in that little challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would love, if you're watching or listening, give that a try. Let's find out what switching our, if you're lefty, go to right. If you're righty, go to left. We'll just try those simple little techniques and then releasing our body. I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you so much for those actionable, simple, quick tips that anyone listening today can implement literally right now if they want to. So I appreciate you. It's been so much fun getting to know more about you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved and enjoyed this discussion so much.
Very cool. Well, with that, we will make it a wrap. I am excited that you got to join us today, that you got to meet Arin, and like I said, you got some actionable stuff. Otherwise, make it fun, make it rich, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.